from round one of the NFL draft. E.J. Manuel is here. Let's talk quarterbacks, and let's do E's keys on the top picks. Caleb Williams is first up. What is the key for Caleb?
Yeah, the key for Caleb Williams is just keep it simple. Look, if you're the number one overall pick in the draft, of course, the expectation is for you to be the savior of Chicago. But really, when you get in there, just go out there, do your job. Don't feel like you got to play hero ball. Throw the ball to receivers, take what the defense gives you, and you'll be fine throughout your rookie year.
Now, everyone has been talking about J.J. McCarthy from Michigan. What is the key for J.J.?
Yeah, well, the key for J.J. is really being consistent with the routine. I think one thing when you turn the tape on with J.J., he does a great job of taking, again, what the defense gives him, but he's accurate in those third down situations, out routes, comebacks, slants, those type of routine passes. You got to do that at a high clip at the NFL, and the coverage is going to be a little bit tighter. But again, if you do that in your rookie year, you'll be fine, and you can expand with the offense.
And then, of course, there's Jaden Daniels, who most people assume will be the second pick. More on that in a long time. And interestingly, yesterday, the Commanders, who have the second pick in this draft, brought in 4 of the top quarterback prospects all at the same time. I asked Louis Riddick about that when he was here yesterday. Here's what he thought.
If you were so sure on exactly who you wanted and it was locked in, I don't think you do this. My suspicion is just that there are varying opinions.
This late in the game.
Exactly. Look, it's happened before. Like I said earlier.
Michael Penix Jr., that one of them is Michael Penix Jr. at number 2?
Meaning that maybe they're anticipating maybe getting a trade offer.
Okay, so he's thinking exactly what I'm thinking. The football squad is here. D. Wood with EJ and Kmart, my insider extraordinaire. I begin with you. You're actually going to be with Washington next week. That's where you'll be in Virginia for them with the second pick. Look, they basically have known exactly what their tableau was for a long time.
Yes.
The insiders have known that Caleb Williams was going number 1. Why is it that a week before the draft they're bringing 4 quarterbacks in at this stage?
Well, number one, let me just say that the 49ers apparently did this to this whole group visit thing, and Adam Peters, their new GM, was in San Francisco. That said, a lot of people in the NFL, whether it be execs, whether it be agents, are confused as hell as to why this is even happening because, and even Jaden Daniels' agent tweeted the confused thinking emoji,
Yes.
because it is curious because we don't see it. But here's what I can tell you about the Commanders, and this is probably why they have all the men. They haven't made a decision yet as to who the number 2 pick is. And I've been told that they're still in the evaluation process and may not make that final decision until next week. So there is no consensus in the building just yet. I will say, I've always heard Jaden Daniels as the favorite to land at that 2 spot. The other name that I have heard is Drake May. But again, still, they haven't zeroed in on the guy just yet.
Well, they have felt like they were 2-3 or 3-2 or however you want to put it throughout most of this process in either order that you want, which makes it so fascinating to me that they have particularly Michael Penix being in there. I don't think there's anyone, and I know you believe he will go higher than most believe.
Yes, not that high.
He's not going number 2.
That's
my point. So if you're bringing Michael Penix in 8 days before the draft, that suggests to me that there is at least some possibility that you are trading out of that spot and you want to take a look at someone else because he's not going number 2.
Yeah, listen, I agree with that. I also think that when you're bringing in all 4 of these guys, I think that the team, everyone, when there's conflicting opinions about who do you want to take at number 2, you're looking for the most minuscule things that kind of separate, that can be the decision maker for who you're going to take. When you bring in those, what I call alpha guys in that situation, how do they interact with each other? Who's showing that all of these guys, all 4 of these quarterback draft prospects in at the same time? It makes no sense other than to see what are these guys' personalities like? How do they interact with other people?
Well, you've lived this process a little bit. I mean, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I make of it as what Damian's saying is really trying to get a feel for their personalities. Which guy sits by himself in the cafeteria? Which guy says hello to the person that is a security guard? Which guy does the little small things like he's saying to really get a feel for their personality? Like when you bring in all 4 guys, and look, they're all potential first-round quarterbacks. Not to say one's better than the other, but I think, again, at this process, you know what they are as a player. Now you want to get a feel for them as a person and get them all together, and that way you can judge.
Nope, doesn't pass the smell test. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. You're bringing these 4 guys
that's what
in.
it is.
You're making a decision of this.
All good.
You
got the second pick. You have a good idea of who you're going to draft.
Right.
And now if it's close, all right, well, what kind of guy is he? Again, is he a quiet guy? Does he like to?
You've had 4 months
honcho within a bunch of other
But see-
honchos. I put it like that. Is he an alpha amongst
I
other
understand
alphas?
that. The best way to find that out, to me, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a personality expert. To me, is not to bring all four of them in on one day and make a decision on who says hello to the security guard. When all of them know they're there for a job interview. Every single one of them knows exactly
but
what
Greeny,
they're
but
doing.
Greeny,
Let me just say
go
this.
ahead.
Let me just say this. Having talked to and interviewed Dan Quinn at the Combine,
Yeah.
it is very important for him to understand the personality and the mental makeup of the guys he is bringing into this locker room. A lot of vets that he has experience with are in Washington right now. These rookies, the quarterbacks, it is essential to know not can he just play, but can he carry himself? Can he be an executive who understands that he's carrying this franchise on his back? I know that it is unorthodox, but keep in mind, we have a first-year GM, a head coach who didn't think he'd get a second chance, and now that he's got it, they want to make the right decision. And I will throw cold water on the Michael Penix thing. Yes, he is there. Yes, you want to get intel on all these guys because you don't know what could happen now and also in the future. You want to know who these guys are, but it's all right, Greeny. Just breathe. It's okay.
No, I love it. What I'm saying is something else is going on here. Now, I don't know what it is, but the bottom line of it is if you had identified the player that you want to take with the second pick in the draft, which you have had months to do, you don't need to spend all this time. They have 2 second-round picks. They have a ton of needs to fill. They have any number of other ways they could be occupying their time. There are all these whispers out there that Jaden Daniels is trying to find a way to get to the Raiders. I have no idea if that factors into this conversation or not. All I'm saying is the idea that they just a week before the draft, let's see how they interact with each other and that's how we're going to make this extraordinarily important decision. That is very difficult.
Listen, this, you brought up the whole trade down. I'm not buying that at all. Like
No?
you literally,
Talk about it,
you
bitch.
literally have the pick of the litter at number 2. We
Right.
know that Caleb Williams is going 1. The Washington Commanders have 6 picks in the top 100. I
Right.
don't think they're looking to trade down to jeopardize the quarterback that they most desire to acquire more picks. That doesn't make sense.
But
to me.
what if the quarterback they want is J.J. McCarthy? That's what I'm trying to say to you. If
that's
they've
why you bring
decided
all
they
of them
want a
together.
guy who doesn't have, okay,
Yeah.
but so we're agreeing at this point. They haven't made up their
But
mind what they're doing.
But I already told you, they don't have a consensus yet. They still are doing the due diligence.
Right.
And even though you feel like, well, it's a week before the draft, like how could they not know? They have to nail this decision. So you take as long, they could take until to turn that card in. As long as they nail it, that's all that
On
matters.
some level, I feel like we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
If they knew what they were doing with this, there's no way in the world they would be doing what they did yesterday.
But it's not like they don't. It's like, oh gosh, guys, who do we like?
Right.
Who do we like?
Well,
they like certain guys, but they haven't made that final decision for the 2 spot.
I don't have time for the tape right now, but we'll show it later. If you needed a quarterback and you could choose, Caleb Williams is off the board. Which one of these guys would you take?
I would take Jaden Daniels. When you turn this tape on, I think he has the most skill that translates fast to being a rookie quarterback. And what I mean by a rookie quarterback is just some of the simple nuances of getting in and out the huddle, footwork, timing up with your passing concepts, being accurate with the football. But again, the explosiveness is also going to carry him in his first year. Look, if things break down, you got an offensive lineman that's getting beat and things like that. He's fast enough to get himself out of trouble. So to me, based off the tape and his footwork, I'm taking Jaden Daniels.
Okay, we'll leave this here for the moment. I know you've put together an entire tape on him that will get you a little bit later, but this thing is getting fascinating. We thought maybe the intrigue would start at 3. At this moment, I think the intrigue starts at 2, and we'll go from there.